it alongside. And all of you standing, we're going to have to make some more room. We're trying to do that. We'll kick this off with Pledge of Allegiance and then move to invocation. Is Chuck here? Anywhere? Can you do it, Chuck? Thank you, buddy. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Amen.
I would request first, if it's okay, we have a moment of silence in memory of Ruben Duarte, all that he did for Miami, him and his family and everything else, and I just feel that's an important thing that we recognize it. And we just really moving to silence, please.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Our Heavenly Father, we are gathered here to follow and do as you ask of us, and ask that you guide us with your Spirit, with your knowledge, with everything that you've shown us in the past, as we are all here to keep Miami great. And you are the one who's led us the way this far, and we ask for that continued leadership. We ask that you help us to listen, you help us to talk and say as we need to say, and you sent your Son down and showed us how we are supposed to be. And we ask that you send the Spirit upon us and let us be that way. We also ask that you watch over those who are out to protect us, including the police, the emergency workers, the fire people, fire rescue, all those. And we ask that you also watch over those who are protecting our country, especially those out in the middle of nowhere. Send our love and our appreciation to them, and help them and their families that they can continue their job. We glorify you, we honor you, and we praise you. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Amen. Thank you, Chuck. Thank you. Move to roll call.
Mayor Madrid,
Present.
Vice Mayor Gonzalez,
Present.
Councilmember Medina,
Present.
Councilmember Moat,
Here.
Councilmember Ryman,
Here.
Councilmember Saj,
Excused.
Councilmember Stewart.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. Okay, consent agenda. All items listed below are considered consent calendar items and may be approved by a single motion unless removed at the request of a council member for further discussion and action. Other items on the agenda may be added to the consent calendar and approved under a single motion. Item 4A, consideration and possible action to approve minutes of July 14th, 2025 regular meeting. Or B, consideration and possible action to approve Town of Miami payroll for July 6th, 2025 at $105,370.95, and July 20th, 25 for $106,342.25. 4C, consideration and possible action to approve participation in the direct settlement opioid, parentheses, Alvogen, Ammonil, Apotex, Kimma, Indivixer, Mylan, Sun, Citus, opioids, implementation, administration, Rubus, reference number CL 1762322, and direct the town manager to compete and submit participation form. And 4D, consideration and possible approval of funding agreement with Resolution Copper for Miami Billboard 2025 and 2026.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
Yeah, Maria, on page 1 or page 2, read down. Move to accept the consent agenda as specified.
I'll second.
Okay, Councilman Ryman moved to accept the agenda, and Councilman Stewart seconded. So we'll move to vote, if the rest of any more questions. Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Okay, item 5, committee and general demands. 5A, consideration and possible action to approve the general demands for July 4th through July 17th, 2025, $170,974.66.
Yeah, Maria, on page 1, 3 down. I missed what we did with the full page ad for $6,000. We have a mini picture of that. Anywhere to check the records?
What check number was that, Councilman Moore?
It was 3 down on page 1. Globe Miami Times. What was that, 6,000 full page ad?
I do have a backup if you would like to see it.
Yeah, can you just mention one as well?
That's the magazine. The magazine?
Was it the magazine?
Yeah, that's what it is.
A little steep for a full page ad or not?
So it was I believe it was a 4 page plus the additional page for the Globe Miami Times. And we've been doing that for already 3 years. And I know one of the pages they were going to put the council, a photo of the council. And, but yeah, it's pretty much just what's
For
going on.
For the year?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions?
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
I'd like to make a motion to accept 5A, consideration and possible action to approve the general demands for July 4th through July 17th, 2025, in the amount of $170,000, I'm sorry, $170,974.66.
Second.
Okay, Councilman Stewart moved to accept 5A. Councilman Ryman seconded. So let's vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Go to item 6, reports and recognitions. Town manager report.
Good evening, Mayor, Council, and public. Last Thursday, we present a package of $2.8 million to CAC. This is for the community roads. outside of the money that we're gonna be receiving from CBDG and HERF that we're gonna be working on the first quarter of 2026, this package is gonna be presented to, we presented first to CAG. CAG is gonna put it on a big package to the state of Arizona. We performed the asbestos study for the town library roof, came positive. Now we need to pursue some fundings in order to make a remediation of that roof before the project can start. They need to clean it up. The community pool movie that was presented last Friday, that was successful. Thank you to Maria and her staff. We're going to continue with the permit those events on the monthly basis. We presented an application for the sewer study to FMI. We need to find out what is the condition of our sewer system around the town before we can start receiving fundings and repair our roads. The last application that we presented was for the engineering study concerning the water retention, drainage, and road condition through the state of Arizona at the SMART program. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, 5B, that's me. I got a few things I want to talk about tonight, beginning with just some events that are coming up. Miami High School Vandals Bash at the pool, July 31st from 4 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. And Alexis, we need to make sure that we can handle that with the lifeguards, huh?
Yes, we sent an email today to the police department and public works advising what we need to be accomplished during those times.
Good, thank you. And I want to give you guys all an update on the strategic plan in our next workshop. We've been giving that some thought, and I believe that we can make better ground in a workshop scenario if we move it all to William Plaza, where everyone can get together in a round table and work through all the issues and answer all the questions and come up with all the good ideas. We've got most of it ready to go, so we're gonna, I've got Councilman Stewart already reserved the room for us, but I would appreciate it if we're gonna have a lot of folks come up to the session, if we could get some kind of a number that'll tell us what kind of room we're going to. The room we have right now is the one we use to create the strategic plan, and I would think that we'll probably have a lot more people that want to see how we're going to implement it. So please let us know. Drop a line to our town clerk or Alexis, so we have a count, we can get forward with that, make sure we have the right space. We do have some space open, right?
Sir.
Some leeway there, okay. And I promised in the last meeting that I would respond to Councilman Medina's comments that he made. I wasn't able to do it, broke the law if I had tried. There's a system called Other Matters that does allow people to go through and talk about that very issue, and that's what I thought I was going to have. But I found out differently, so I promised I would bring it up in this meeting, because I think what was done in that could be, could cause some misunderstandings, or maybe it's, it's somebody going to move in the right direction. I don't know, but I think everyone needs to understand. I voted. I took an oath. We're going to do full transparency. I came here to serve you guys. I mean, you are the ones that we care about. Okay? So with that, I'm going to start out I'm here to please the people. So I say, why would Councilman Medina issue the following reminder to the councilman and the public during our July 14th meeting as follows, quote, "And finally, I would remind the council of the power of the necessity of the gavel, and remind the council that the mayor and the vice mayor work at the pleasure of the council, meaning they can be voted out of their said position and back to being council members." So I asked myself, what could this behavior stem from? And I'm pretty sure it was our June 23rd meeting, the meeting before the 14th of July. And that's when Councilman Medina did not address the presiding officer, that's me, to ask for permission to start talking. Instead, he started yelling at and pointing the finger at the public person that was up at the podium talking. He interrupted him and started yelling at him. And I tried to stop Councilman Medina 4 or 5 times. I asked him to please stop it. And he finally did. And he asked if he could have the table in, and I said, no, we need to move on. With that kind of action, I was afraid it would start again. And I didn't want to hear it. I know that none of you want to hear it. We're here to take care of decorum and conduct in a big way. And I want to let all of you know that the word decorum means a lot. It's controlled and, calm behavior is the simple definition. But you start diving into the depth of it, and then in our town council rules and procedures, it states that any member of the council desiring to speak shall address the presiding officer, and upon recognition, presiding officer will let him speak. It also states that council members should conduct themselves with dignity and respect and towards other council members and members of the public. That's a very important statement. And shall be respectful of opinions and others, whether or not they agree with those opinions. If a member acts in violation of these rules, the presiding officer should call that member to order. And just to ensure this idea, or not an idea, it's an option that town council has. If they're going to consider removing a mayor, I'll tell you, if we look at the town council rules and procedures, it's not just the council up here voting at one night. That doesn't work that way. When you read the rules and procedures, and I'll quote it here, the mayor or vice mayor may be removed from such appointed positions for the following reasons. 1, unlawful conduct involving moral turpitude, and that's moral corruption. Fancy word. And then number 2 is fraud, number 3 is malfeasance, number 4 is corruption, and number 5 is the gross violation of the town council rules and procedures. And, if anybody was guilty of that, they also have to have removal, also requires submission of a sworn written affidavit of at least 2 members, I think it should be 4 since you're looking for a quorum, but at least 2 members alleging conduct constituting grounds for removal. So, if anything like that was going to happen, if it was me, I would have the option to have the public, open it to the public and talk about every issue on my mind. And theirs, they would have the same opportunity. So So I just wanted to make sure that we all understood that. I didn't like the way we had to leave it in the last meeting, and I keep my promises. Thank you for that. And we will go with Councilman Medina on your side.
My report is quite lengthy, as you guys can see. So I'm going to try to summarize it and make some corrections. Item 1, concerning the oil sprayed over Pine Avenue and then followed with a layer of ABC, aggregate base course. And in discussion with Tim Humphrey, we had a lengthy discussion on things. And he said, oh, you're talking about chip seal. I said, that's right. So I'm being corrected there. What they did a chip seal on Pine Avenue without disturbing the terrible road condition. And I was going to complain. I thought that was a cheap fix, but it was. And I thought it turned out pretty well, so I'm not complaining. So I think as a first aid if necessary, I look at a chip seal. I won't touch on the condition of some plants at the Bowie Plaza Museum. My last one, I find it kind of interesting. Here we're concerned about people moving here from wherever. And I'm always thinking about young families. What is it that young families want? And by coincidence, we're going to a medical appointment, and they're doing some kind of road work right there on Highway 60 in Gold Canyon. We got diverted to the north, went through the foothills. We started out at Kings Ranch Road, and it terminated on Superstition Mountain Road. So we made a little horseshoe tour, and I was really surprised. The number of beautiful homes out there, and quite a few of them are for sale. So the concern that we have of trying to attract people to our town, yeah, including Globe and Superior, Purdy, and all them, there's competition out there, folks. So I think what we need to do is really work on our middle income, lower income, and retirees, and try and make it attractive to them, and try and bring some of those folks in. And I was corrected, or reminded actually, I keep bringing up Caliche. Caliche, it's in my mind because I hear so much about it in Texas and New Mexico. They use it quite a bit there. So I was thinking we could use it here. In conversation with Tim Humphreys, Supervisor Tim Humphrey of District 2, he told me that he wasn't aware of any caliche pits around that we can dig into. Excuse me. So anyway, I told him that I saw some areas there that looked like caliche. He said, no, in our area, what we use is granite. And then it dawned on me that that's exactly right. If you look at the granite, it kind of reminds you of caliche. It's always calling granite caliche, so that's my mistake. So I take back everything I said about looking at caliche. And my neighbor at one time, they paved his road going to his house. It was a town road with granite, and it packed in real well, and it was almost like asphalt. If you want to see some areas for yourself, the road that takes you from Globe up to Copper Hills, that whole road is granite, and you can see how it's packed really nice. My opinion is that these people don't know how to drive on dirt roads, and there's a lot of washboard effect on those roads. Another example is right there at Corva Valley Regional Medical Center, the walking trail that they have, that walk path, that's what they use there, granite. And it's a good example, so if you get a chance, go check that out. And anyway, another important item. I've been making a lot of stops at that Basha at Gold Canyon. Excuse me. Across the parking lot there on the east side, there's an ATM machine there, Wells Fargo. I was very impressed. I don't think there was anybody attending this ATM machine indoors. It's an indoor outfit. And it appeared to me like if you need to get in there after hours, because it's 24/7, it looked like there's a place there for you to insert a card, and I'm thinking that maybe your debit card. Anyway, you get in there. You see this really nice 2 ATM machines, very quick, very fast. You don't have to wait in line. What's really impressive to me is that machine will give you whatever type of change you want, from $1 to 100, except for some reason the 50s. It won't give you 50s, but everything in between. $, $5, $20, $10, $20, all that. So my point is, and it was kind of referred to me from some other outfit, that one way to attract residents and especially tourists is to have an ATM machine in your town, centrally located. And my suggestion was, and manager and I talked about this sometime in the past, somewhere here alongside our building here, have an ATM machine. And anyway, I think it would be something to look into, so I bring it up again. And like I said, you guys have my report, so if you have any questions, I'd be glad to answer them one-on-one. So thank you very much.
I got one comment on that. The trail that we put up to the top of the M is granite chip.
Right.
In case anybody wanted to know.
Right.
Here.
Okay?
As of our last meeting, the neighborhood watch came up. And they're starting the one on Adonis. I would like to re-advise the neighborhood watching the Persian Circle area. I would like to volunteer my time and energy of being the neighborhood czar of that area. Captain. I've talked to my 2 closest neighbors. They're not interested in being a captain. So I would like to get an approval of my other neighbor. He thinks I would be able to handle the job.
Councilman Mo, is your microphone on?
Yeah, it's on. How it is. Can you hear me now? Barely. So I would like to volunteer my services to be the neighborhood captain of our neighborhood.
Good.
I can walk out in my yard and see every neighbor there is on the hill, except for the one down below me there. But it's kind of a no-brainer to do that. I think I could get everybody involved with that. I'd like to do that.
Very good.
Good choice, Captain, Councilman.
Okay, Captain.
Mr. Mayor. Mr. Mayor.
Yes.
I'm looking out over the crowd here, and I think all of the public is going to be an extended affair tonight, just from looking at the people here. I'd like to move the call to the public to the agenda, so that these items that involve other people can be taken care of in short order, and then we have an opportunity for as many people that want to speak can speak. Second that. Need a motion.
Okay, Councilman Ryman, you all heard, made a motion to move the call to public out to the end. And Councilman Medina seconded. And so we'll take a vote. I think that's a great idea. I think all of you will appreciate it. That way you're not wasting your time. You're going to get your chance to talk. So all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, say nay. The ayes have it. We'll push her out. Okay, there's nothing on item 8. We'll move to the new business, item 9. Information and discussion only. Discussion of Independence Day celebration 2025 and future plans for 2026. And presentation of parade float winners. Bessie?
Mayor, Just Bryant, is this on? I think it's on. It's green. Green? Kind of yellow.
You got a green light on that?
Okay, now it's me. All right, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, great. Just Bryant, so I am president of the Ewing County Public Safety Memorial Association, and I also have a spearhead the Independence Day celebration, the Clover Valley Independence Day celebration. We've got one thing we want to do real quickly. In light of the tragic news for the Duarte family, we want to extend our sincere condolences and leave this sympathy card with the manager on our behalf. We will be inviting everybody up who won a prize in the parade. We also want to invite your feedback as well. As though we are looking forward to starting 2026 and how we can do things always bigger and better. But for a moment, if you will indulge me, I want to share with you something that arrived today. I don't want to take it out too far, but this is a book. It's called The Law of Nations by Emerita Vattel. It was a very popular book at the time of the founding. And this particular volume is from 1792. And it has a signature inside by Samuel Chase, who was one of our founding fathers, and was also the only Supreme Court justice to ever be impeached by Congress. So I was very proud to receive this today. I just wanted to share that with all of you. But just to say that I kind of take this stuff pretty seriously. So we want to first invite up those who receive prizes in our parade. So just so the public knows that our Clover Valley Independence Day Parade every year, we have generous prize monies for the floats in there, for best decorated float. So keep that in your mind for next year. I know it's hot, but unfortunately these things went on in the Northeast, not in the Southwest. So they happened in July, and we got to celebrate that. So get in the parade next year and have your chance to win some money. So we'll present these first. Our first prize winner, and by the way, our judges this year were Ewing County Superior Court Judge Brian Chambers, and your very own Sergeant Manny Hernandez, as well as Francis Winkeridge. Yes, those were our judges. So they were the gracious volunteers who judged these prize winners. So totally outside the house, and if you don't like it, take it up to the police. So we're going to invite our first prize winner up for this year's was a Gold Miami Indivisible, and they will be receiving a $300 check.
My name is Jane Pollins. I'm a retired teacher, and I have been a resident of Globe since 1983. We were really excited. We're a bipartisan organization. You can check us out on Facebook. But we were really excited to show our love of the area and our love of America. So you guys gave us a really great way to express all of that. And we thank the town of Miami for offering you to just, thank you.
They really went all out. They had a really great decorated photo parade. So again, we just want to encourage folks out there to go the extra mile and maybe bring home some of this cash for yourself next year. Our second place went to the Golden Oldies Car Club. If you noticed, they had several vehicles in the parade, and were definitely a really great show, and we appreciate them being here. So they are taking home $200.
I'm actually a retired school superintendent. I did this for 30 years. It kind of reminded me why I left. But I want to take a moment and congratulate the town of Miami. I want to congratulate you on that swimming pool. I want to congratulate you on how nice the park is. I want you to congratulate how clean your town is. You're doing a great job, and want you to know, just a second, I also want to let you know that the reason we're in this, because the Globe mayor came by and said, hey, why don't you guys join me and do the parade in Miami? So he supports you, we support you. So thank you very much. This money, we have a scholarship fund that we do every year, and this will go directly into that scholarship fund. So thank you again. Thank you.
And he's right, I think it was fantastic that the Globe Mayor was in the parade. The former Globe Mayor, Daniel Schichter, was helping us behind the scenes, and there was 2 other Globe City Council members in the audience there. So it's just fantastic that we have a really great cross-community event that's going on there. Our third place winner, I don't see the chairman here, but went to Joe Sanchez and his William Plaza, and that awesome old 1940s pickup truck that he decorates and has in the parade every year. So is anybody from William Plaza here tonight?
That would be me.
Except for the obvious person.
Thank you very much.
Speech.
Well, thank you very much. I know Mr. Sanchez will be most appreciative because he had a nice rig up there, and it was great to see him and have him as part of our parade. And he represents William Plaza like nobody else can. So thank you very much, and we appreciate it.
I had the great pleasure of being a newspaper reporter while he was chairman of the Board of Supervisors. And let me tell you, there was a very dry eye in the crowd from all the laughing we would do at every meeting. So still to this day, I call him chairman of the board. So great, Joe Sanchez, great people. We do want to invite the public to join us on Monday, August 4th, right here in Town Hall. If you want to help us kick off the 2026 Independence Day, we want to invite feedback from the public and ideas and what else they have to offer. So some of you have already been told that meeting is going to happen on Friday, August 1st, but it has been rescheduled to Monday, August 4th at 4 p.m. Right here in the council chambers. So come join us and give us your thoughts and feedback and any ideas for other events we can do or ideas that we can improve on. We also, I do want to point out that we started another tradition this year, and we call it the Independence Festival. It'll happen right after the parade, right there in the park. Your very own town manager here fired up the barbecue grill and cooked hot dogs and hamburgers for you to the public. What's just hamburgers? What's hot dogs? Yeah, okay, hot dogs and hamburgers. And we had our very first salsa contest. So we invited people from the community to bring their own homemade salsa and compete. And there were some small prizes involved. How many categories was there?
We had 3 categories, the hottest,
Wild.
the hottest, the most creative, and best flavor.
You know who the winner was? Mayor, I recall your wife was one of the contestants. Did she win in those categories?
She's right there.
You won one of the prizes for the salsa contest, didn't you? The hottest. Yeah. So, it was the hottest salsa at home. So it was really neat that we had all the mayors on that, judges. So, your own Mayor Joe Madrid, Mayor Gola, Alamaros, and Travis Shipman, who's previously Mayor Gola. So that was a lot of fun. We're planning on doing that again. So be aware of that, public, that if you want to get in on next year's salsa contest, you'll have your chance to win bragging rights for 2026.
Sounds good.
Is there, so as far as I also want to say that the dinner that we held this year at Boydton Plaza in the gym in the back was such a tremendous success. We banked on 100 people, and we had more than 100. And we had more people showing up at the door, buying tickets at the door. It was tremendous. And your Sergeant Hernandez, his leadership there was invaluable. The town of Miami Police really helped with traffic control and parking. And the Gila County Posse came out and helped us as well. And it was perfect. It was absolutely perfect. Very grateful for all that support. And we're hoping to do again. And I do want to put on that point another plug-in out there that we would like to invite Sergeant Jimmy Lopez. Anybody out there knows who that is. We're working on trying to get a hold of him. Anybody knows how to get through to him or one of his family members. Just a quick counsel, you raise your hands, you know who Jimmy Lopez is. Those who did raise your hands. He was one of the Marines in the Iran hostage crisis, and he's considered a hero in that event. He helped several of the embassy personnel escape when the embassy was being overrun. And so, given that 2026 is the 250th anniversary of the signing of the Declaration of Independence, we thought it would be very appropriate to have him be our honoree for next year. So, cross your fingers, hopefully we can get him out here for that. And if anybody out there knows how to get a hold of the Jimmy Lopez family, we appreciate that help. Thank you. Councilman Nieta gave us copies of the Declaration of Independence to get out, possibly use to raise money. We appreciate that. So with all the events that we did, we'd like to invite any council feedback, any public feedback on what we can do better or what you thought went really great.
What was it, 444 days they were counted?
444.
Lopez.
444.
Was that the Iraq? Okay, I didn't know that. I wasn't born yet, sorry to say. But I've just read a few articles about it recently.
444.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing. Yeah. And I definitely will learn more about that, but hopefully we can get out here for that.
This picture still hangs in Globe High School.
Yeah.
Hero.
Yeah. It's amazing to me how many people have gone out from the Globe Miami and made a stamp on history. A lot of them have already passed away, but we have a tremendous amount of historical figures that have come from this community. I don't know why we're so special, but it's pretty great. So the ones that are still living, we'd like to get out here for our 4th of July's and years to come and honor them. Is there any other thoughts or feedback on the events?
Go ahead.
Yes, I just want to make a comment on a couple more individuals that were valuable for the success of this, and that was our MC that you guys had and Stephen Palmer. I think he did an excellent job. And then also our Centennial Band, out there playing. I think they need to have the recognition for them also for playing out there. And I know it was hot, and they were still fulfilling their duties and playing excellent music. So I just want to give them some more recognition for their participation in the success of this event.
Absolutely, yeah, and you don't even realize it, the public doesn't even realize that. There was a carefully scripted program because I stayed up very late that night writing that script. And then I had got called away to do other, infrastructure things, setting up the parade, and it all fell apart. Completely fell apart, total chaos. And Stephen and the Centennial Band under the leadership of Linda Gustafson, and also Sean Bywater, who does sound for me every year. The three of them ad-libbed their way through that whole thing, and the public was never the wiser. And they completely saved the day on that. They all three were absolutely tremendous. Very grateful for their participation. Stephen has such a perfect personality to MC that event. He knows everybody already. Does such a great job.
I have a comment. Yeah, we had over $400 in coins going to the pool. That wasn't not counting the prizes and everything else the kids won. We had a great time, looking forward to next year.
That's true. I was going to point that out too. That there was goings on at the pool with the youth, and also Stephen had set up a disc golf tournament at Boydton Plaza after the parade. So there was a lot of great things going on here at 4th of July, and I hope it's the seedlings of even more great things to come in the next years.
Thank you, Jesse. Appreciate all that you do for the town of Miami and Globe. Thank you very much. Okay, item 9B, information, discussion, and possible action, consideration and possible approval for town manager to proceed with promotion of Sergeant Hernandez, police chief. Where did my town manager go?
Sergeant Hernandez,
Oh,
please come to the podium. Mayor and Council, for the last 36 months, our municipality is trying to find a chief of police that is dedicated, community-oriented, and focusing on the best elements for our municipality. Today, we want to present Sergeant Hernandez as our new chief of police with the support of the mayor, council, and community members. At this point, I want to present it, Mayor. You can say the perfect words to approve this promotion. Our community members is going to be safe from today and on. Thank you.
Absolutely.
If I can receive a motion and the support.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
I would like to make a motion for item 9B, consideration and possible approval for the town manager to proceed with the promotion of Sergeant Hernandez to police chief.
Second.
Thank you. Councilman Stewart made a motion to approve, and Councilman Mode seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. The ayes have it.
Mayor, council, community members, Here's your new chief of police.
Good evening, Mayor, members of the council, members of the community. I am so happy to be here and be part of this community. I'm here day one, able to help everyone, whoever comes to me. I'll receive them with open arms and be able to help you guys in anything you guys decide, any questions you guys might have. Okay? It's been an honor. Thank you to my family, my God, my wife, for putting up with me for these long hours and days away from home. Thank you so much, my family. Thank you for being here. My coworkers, thank you guys for being here. People that make who I am as a police officer, Sean Manos, Jesse Torres, my old friend, Baba. Thank you guys so much for being here for me.
And also, the next meeting, we're gonna be swearing our chief.
All right, we go to,
Excuse me, Mayor. Can we get a photo op with the manager, you guys in the background, chief, right here?
Yeah, the swearing. We can pursue that in the next meeting, please. On the swearing, thank you.
Because I thought it was an opportune time, but.
Thank you, Councilman.
okay, item 9C. Information, discussion, and possible action, consideration and possible approval of resolution number 1317, a resolution of the town of Miami, of Eda County, Arizona, to authorize the application for clean water state revolving fund loan from Water Infrastructure Finance Authority, better known as WIFA of Arizona. Alexis?
Mayor and Council, the town of Miami is pursuing another grant to the infrastructure. In some areas, there was request by the public work director. We have some infrastructures and pump stations, petrol track that need to be improved. And we are pursuing a grant to facilitate and upgrade those facilities. This funding is about $25 to $35 million.
Okay, any questions, guys?
Alexis, on section 2, backside of the resolution, it says the town manager is authorized to take such action as is necessary to apply for financial assistance amount not to exceed $160,000 payable from revenue.
Correction, yes, correction. And this one is for, in case the infrastructure of the sewer, it was my mistake, we need to pursue that funding. That's the correct amount.
160?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, anybody else?
I'd like to move to approve resolution number 1317, providing for application for loan for water infrastructure.
Second.
Okay, Councilman Ryman moved to approve, Councilman Medina seconded. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? I knew there was none. All right, let's go. 9D, information and discussion only. Report regarding the Moonshot event of July 17th and the places to explore in Miami, Arizona walking trail. Evelyn Clark.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Evelyn Barkey, Second Director, 506 Sullivan Street. Wanted to talk to you about a couple of things. On July 17th, we held a Moonshot event, and what that consisted of was any entrepreneur that had a great idea either a business idea or a service idea, was invited to participate in this competition. And so we had originally 17 people interested, 3 dropped out early, and then 4 of them were no-shows the day of the event. So we ended up with 10 contestants that day. I want to start off by thanking Dave Sight and Gary Wilson. For hosting the event, he provided a beautiful venue. I had told the Moonshot personnel that we were going to have it in a garage, but they didn't realize the type of garage Gary has. So they were quite surprised when they walked in and saw the polished floors, the finished walls. It was just a beautiful space for this event. So we had contestants from dog cookies, yoga pillows. We had a business that bred rabbits, swamp cooler invention, locksmith, and a few other types of inventions and service ideas. When it came down to it, well, I'll get to that in a minute. I want to first thank Scott and Kirsten Halfhawk of Moonshot for hosting this event in Miami. I'd like to thank the town of Miami, who provided all kinds of different support to make this happen. Miami Flats, Robin Wilson, owner of Miami Flats, they provided pizza also. If you haven't had their pizza, you haven't had pizza yet. So very good food that was provided from Miami Flats, Sticks Roasted Chicken, and also our local burger house. Other sponsors were Freeport McMoran, Cobra Valley Regional Medical Center, Capstone, and the Southern Hill County Economic Development Committee. They're the ones that provided the prize money and also paid for the food and other expenses for the event. I wanted to let you know who the winners were. Third place was Sean McClure, and his business was called Positive, P-A-W, Positive Respite, and he provides shelter for animals whose owners are having some kind of medical procedure or some kind of mental illness, and sometimes it's very scary for the patient to wonder what's going to happen to their dog or their cat, their animal. So that's the service he provided. Sean won $700. He's out of Payson. Second place went to Juliana Powers of JP Technology and Design. What she does is she goes into new businesses or old businesses, and she determines what kind of technology they need. Do they need QuickBooks? Do they need some kind of marketing software, etc.? She goes in and determines what kind of software they need or what kind of technology they need. That way they're not overspending or underspending in those areas. Juliana won $1,000. Our first place winner was our very own Miami, Arizona, Ray Webb. So, as many of you know, Ray has invented a tattoo machine called NeoTat. And recently he redesigned it, reconfigured it, and you know what, I'll let him talk about it because I'll mess it up. But anyway, Ray won $1,500 at the Moonshot event.
Well, all I can say is I'm going to represent Miami at the state event here. And I have a good product, and I think there's a good chance of us bringing home the bacon.
All right.
Yes.
So we had a wonderful day that day at Moonshot. We hope to host it again next year. So The other item I wanted to talk about was places to explore in Miami, Arizona. And this kind of tied in with Miami Mining Expo. They're the ones that are paying for the signage. If you take a look at this back corner, is it Mary? There's quite a few colorful signs there, and they represent different areas in Miami. And these aren't the end of them. I have about 6 more slated to be created. But these are going to go mounted near the building or on the building, depending on what the owner wants to do. But it's going to hook to, you take a look, there's our website. And if you scroll down to the bottom, there's a link called Places to Explore. And you'll notice that Keystone Stairs, the Catholic Church, Bullion Plaza, the YMCA, our beautiful Luton Arch Bridges, and the mural are there. We have some corresponding signs that are located right here. So as people are walking around, they can take a look at the sign, get a little bit more information. If they want more information, they just scan that QR code. It'll jump them to this web page. They can get more information about Miami, which makes it nice is we can just change this information here if need be. It's very simple, but it'll give people an idea of what Miami is about. We want to highlight, our antique stores, our innovation, our makers, just everything that Miami is about. And we can't forget our mining industry too. So be looking for these signs to be put around town. We're going to have a corresponding map to them, so when people stop by the town hall, they can get a map when they say, what's to see in Miami? Here's a map, go check it out. I want to thank Rick Hall. Okay, everybody turn around, look at Rick. Wave your hand, Rick. Okay, Rick is, I don't want to say new owner, he's been here a couple of years, year and a half. He purchased the 2 buildings that are to the left of the Keystone Stairs and has been restoring them. He's done a remarkable job on the outside, but you should see the inside, all the work. It has taken him to shore up that back wall against that mountain. And he has put in labor, time, money to make sure that gets done. His belief in Miami is that he wants to move he's a master carpenter, and he builds furniture for high-end clients, and he wants to move his shop here to Miami. So I'm excited about that. If you take a look at the sign in the corner, it's framed with a beautiful wood frame. But if you take a close look, that frame is full of nail holes. It's weathered. That frame was built by Rick Hall from a house that was torn down here in Miami, 100 years old. And look at the beauty, but it tells a story. So it was from the Martin House up Canyon Avenue. As you wind your way up, there was a house there that was torn down. Wood was collected, and Rick Hall built that frame. So more frames are going to be built depending on how the building is going to have their sign mounted. So anyway, if you go to explore, places to explore on the webpage, it'll tell you about all these signs. And I think that's it.
Very good. Appreciate that. Okay, moving to 9E, executive session. An executive session pursuant to ARS 38-431.03A1 for discussion or consultation for legal advice with the town attorney and discussion or consideration of employment, assignment, salary, promotion, demotion, or discipline of town manager Alexis Rivera.
Mayor, I believe that Mr. Rivera has requested his review be done in public pursuant to statute.
You have,
He has. So,
where he signed off on it.
okay, so you can go into executive session only for legal advice, if you need it. Otherwise, if you don't need legal advice on this, we can proceed forward with his review.
Okay. So, Alexis, I'll speak first. I'm sure some of the rest of the councilmen have their thoughts as well. There's a lot we can say, and I'm sure we're going to hear some more tonight. There's some really good attributes that you have. I've told people that all along. And there's some that need some work. And it's organizational communication. It really, it's tiring to try to get some information when you're so wrapped up in all this other stuff that you're doing. And there are times where we hope that we get calls back. I have a lot of calls coming in from the people here in the community asking me why you haven't responded back to them. I think you know the latest ones that are doing that. And in my viewpoint, we're all here to serve the people. And whatever it is that we're doing, and we get a phone call or someone walks in and wants to talk to you, resolve some issues on your streets or whatever, shuttle driving, whatever it is, I think they need to have the right attendance from you and your staff, the appropriate staff directors, to figure out what's going on and let's fix it. The way that I see it happening is frustrating to them, and then I get the phone calls and I've got to figure it out and try to get you to be more responsive. And I just want to let you know that there's some opportunity there for you to really excel. And if there's anything I can do to help you do that. Another issue that I have concern about is a bigger one, and that's the strategic plan that we have for Miami. I know that you were with us when we put the plan together. And now it's time for implementation. And you know, we've already signed off. The council approved the strategic plan. So what's in the plan is what we're going to do. It's been approved, and there's a section in there, the implementation section, where we really need to get our arms around what we're going to do, what are the priorities, what's it going to take, how are we going to break it down, and how are we going to get a really good overall schedule for each one of those issues. And you know, there's a lot to be done. And the first work session that we had, I felt like I was seeing some pushback from several that, you know, we didn't need to have committees. And in my opinion, after 50 years of working in industrial engineering and construction all the way to the top of the ladder. I don't like to say that, but there are times when I have to. I know what we can do and how to get it pulled together in a joint effort. And I go around, I'm looking at what Globe's doing, what Superior's doing, what some of these other towns are. They're all coming together, working together. They're not breaking any law. There's a big wall here. We just think that, well, Alexis, he's got all the authority to go make it happen. Yes, you do. You certainly do it, and I respect that. But what I'm trying to say is, we have the policy. We were elected. We have to make sure that we get everything that the people in this community deserve and get our Miami back. And the only way we're going to do it and do it professionally is to work, jointly and still honor your position as town manager. We're not going to try to tell you, go do it this way. Okay, but what we are going to say is that here's what we want to do, here's our priorities, let's talk about where you at, where do you think you're going to be in certain days, and wind up with a really nice schedule for each one of these. I think there's 5 major priorities that we're going to be working on, focusing on. And we want to get a good, sound schedule for each one of them so we know where we're headed and we can communicate that to the public and get it in the newspapers and let people know that Miami actually knows where we're going and how we're going to get there and when it's going to happen. And we know that you're working hard on the grants and so forth. We know that that's a known unknown in terms of when we're going to get it, how much we're going to get. But we have to start someplace. And if we can get together in these next workshops, and I think we can get it all done, starting with the one I mentioned earlier, for the last Saturday in August at William Plaza, we have the whole month of September to put some more workshops together, if that's what it takes, to get our entire plan to a point where we have what we need to start working it in a joint effort way, and have committees, whether there's people from the public on that committee, we'd like to see that, obviously, people from the council, your directors, whatever it takes that we think we need to have jointly working together to oversee this. Let's just say that we're going to go out and we're going to start trying to annex, okay? And we put a committee together. We have 5 people maybe, and we want to annex Lower Miami. Well, why not start with that committee? Start going over there and checking out the people there in Lower Miami. Are they interested? Would they be willing to sign on the dotted line that they would love to be part of Miami? We could annex it. We could do that with Claypool. We could even go to Central Heights. I don't know where this thing could end, but the more population we get, the better off Miami's going to be. You know that. The councilmen know that. And I think the people in Lower Miami, Claypool, and Central Heights would be a lot better off as well. We just need to get together and show them what we can achieve. So with that, I'll send it over to anybody else that wants to speak.
Yeah, I've got a comment. Alexis, I was voted in 2018 to the Miami Council. You're the 3rd town manager that I've seen here. And pretty much the only one that's made an improvement on this town. You're a very busy guy, you've shown your colors. And a lot of improvements that you've done for this town. And we appreciate that very much. But my pet peeve, and it's been mentioned many times throughout the years that I've been in the council, excuses made that I really didn't understand a lot of them. I know you have the answers to some of them, and you try to share that with us, but we have to ask for it. I want to see some more improvements on the roads. You know, it's been a long time coming. We do a little here, a little there. We got the $5 million grant supposedly somewhere in the sky on the way. It said the same thing when we did the sewer project about the time that you came into this office. And things really didn't get improved there, but I see a lot of times that we could have done something and we didn't. But that's the thing I would like to see done is more road improvements. Other than that, I think you're doing a heck of a great job for the town of Miami.
Thank you. I've been involved in the council here for quite some time. Gone through several managers, councilman has mentioned. It would be nice if this were an engineering project and we had control over the resources that somebody else was paying the bill for, and we could plan out everything and execute it and know where the resources were, because they were part of the contract that was predefined for us and were promised as a part of the contract for the engineering project. Unfortunately, it's not an engineering project. It's a work in progress. Our resources are generated essentially externally through various funding sources, private and public. We don't control their time schedules. We don't control their choices on amounts. We don't control whether the politics behind the funding, both on local, state, and federal level. We are, by nature of our existence as a legal entity, we are dependent, and our size and our revenue sources within our control, we're dependent on outsiders totally. So we can make all the 5-year plans, 10-year plans, whatever that we want to make, but that's not the same thing as realistically trying to accomplish them. And realistically trying to accomplish them is not appointing a bunch of committees, in my opinion. I've been around in business for a while myself. And the business I was in was dependent on a lot of outside decisions as well. I think Alexis has done at least 100% better job for the town of Miami than any manager has had in the last 20 years. And before that, and the reason I say that is when I first started becoming involved with this town, basically the town was bankrupt. It was on the edge of disappearing, and has been there off and on pretty much ever since. If you look at the underlying situation of the town of Miami today, we have money in the bank. We have money in investment funds that are generating $100,000 a year in interest, while we seek other funding to go with that to undertake projects that can do the road structure. The infrastructure in the town over the years, as you all know, has gone down year after year after year. Resources that the systems that were built the last 50 years are being asked to last 100 years.
drive down any street, on any given day in Miami, you'll see water running down the street because the water plant has collapsed in some sections. That's not our particular problem, thank goodness. But nonetheless, we need to get the infrastructure cleaned up and sold before we go out and promise people in some other communities today that we're going to do wondrous things. Because the worst thing that can happen is that we get a chunk of that to go for it, become an exit. And then we're not able to service that. And I think Alexis has a very good sense of how to balance, how to pursue all the different sources that need to come together to produce a result and improve the town. And you can see small things happening throughout the town. Somebody earlier, in connection with Jesse's talk there, got up and actually praised the town of Miami. Now, how often have we heard that from people over the last few years? Not a lot. So I didn't grow up here. I came here in 2006. But this is a much different and much more progressive and forward-looking town today than it has been in the past. So I think Alexis is doing a great job. Is he doing a perfect job? No. Is he a one-man band? Yes. Why is that? Because we don't have the resources to have a staff that does nothing but go out and beat the bushes for money. And spend the time lobbying with whatever political entity needs to be lobbied to move along these projects. So if we control the time schedule, and if we control the commitment schedule, or if we had a lot of money, I'm talking about $10 to $20 million that we control and could demand, then yeah, we could do all the things that we sat in the room and planned. But short of that, you need to, it's like, we'd all like to drive an expensive new car perhaps. But that doesn't mean we can appoint a committee and implement achieving that with any great deal of success, because there are a lot of different factors. Can you finance it? Can you buy it out? Or what kind of, there's a lot of in-between here. So I'm reluctant to be critical of the town manager because he's trying to resolve concrete issues and generate income, enthusiasm, and progress for the town within the bounds that he has to deal with. To me, the fact that we've got progress at all is amazing. So I am very much in favor of our town manager. I do take the time 2 or 3 times a week to come down and say, what's going on? What have you done? So I'm going to sit back here and say I need to be informed. If I feel I need to find out something, I come in and ask, or I call. And I always get the answer. Sometimes the answer is, I don't know. We've got this statement of facts, and this statement of facts, and this statement of facts, and they don't agree, and it's going to take some time to resolve the real issue. And that's just the way, essentially, town government is a service business. And the service business is not black and white, and there are conflicting interests. There are not an unlimited amount of resources to make everybody happy, and even if there are situations where not everybody's going to be happy. And I think we'll hear about that a little later here. So my review of our manager is A, on the performance, A, on the enthusiasm, and A, on the involvement in the affairs of our town. Are there things we need to do as a town to improve our communications? Absolutely. Again, conversation that will follow you, I'm sure, will point out that need. But we also need to bear in mind that that takes resources as well. So what bullet do we want to bite? Where do we want to rob to pay for the coordination and
that a more important thing than the feet on the ground guy? And maybe there's no difference.
There's no cost in the committees.
Well, we heard your view, this is mine. And I think that comes with my evaluation.
The way I see it, there's a lot of blame. If you want to be blaming somebody, there's a lot of blame to be passed around. I've been mentioning it to our constituents that if you have a real complaint, bring it up here before the council. Go on record. Now, the council has to kind of make a decision and be aware of what's going on. These phone calls that go to Alexis, well, I'm sure he would give you an answer, but the way I see it, it should come from the public if you have an issue. And then on the other side, I don't know who trained the following council members after I took the training with the league. And I see a lot of discrepancies that the league says that you guys shouldn't do. So, that being said, the main one that they stressed on when I was there many, many years ago was the fact that the council comes up with all these decisions. They listen to the constituents, they discuss it here at the dais, come up with a decision, and aim at the manager, tell the manager, see what you can do about that, and report back to us what happened. None of this that they complained or they phoned and he's not doing anything about it. No, you should do your part. I've been bringing that up, and so far, we have one constituent that comes up here quite a bit, and I won't point fingers, but I just heard he won an award today. And he's always coming up here and speaking up, and I really respect him for that. I tease him a lot too, but I see him as a good friend. But I brought that up at the senior center. 2 seniors were brave enough, and to me, they were kind of nervous about coming up here. And I reassured them that it doesn't hurt to speak your mind and go on record. And I made a report on my report last time, congratulating these 2 individuals for speaking up. And now, that brings more focus, power to their issue, which in that case was the roads. So now we're really looking at the roads really close. And again, I don't see where this story about Alexis holding back on anything. If I hear something that is of interest, I'll either call him, text him, or if I have the opportunity, I'll come visit with him. And he's wide open. Whatever I want to hear, he tells me. And if he doesn't have an answer, he'll tell me that too. He doesn't have an answer yet, but he's working on it. I've had issues with engineers in the past. Engineers up there at the mine are schedule people. They want to know to the day, to the minute, when this project is going to get done. And me, as kind of a frontline working foreman up there, I would butt heads with engineers and tell them, hey, you're working with human beings, man. Some of us get sick, some of us don't feel well, but we're doing the best that we can. But then they come back, we butt heads, and no, our schedule is this and that, and it's gotta be done. Well, sometimes I would use that with Alexis, and I would tell Alexis, I'm kind of like an engineer. I don't want to hear when. I don't want to hear almost. No, what I want to hear is when. I don't want to hear almost. And you asked about my engineer capabilities. I'm a project partner. I just don't have a certificate, but you have no idea of my 50 years experience up there and in the military and in aviation, partner. And I'll put mine against yours any day.
Mayor.
But I don't brag.
Mayor.
I'm sorry. It's about Alexis. Yes.
Yeah, redirect.
Yes. So going back to Alexis. see what he starts, you know? No. I made the comment one time that if any council forces Alexis out of here, which I know will never happen, but for whatever reason, he's pressured out, or again, like our mayor, he serves at the pleasure of the council. And for no reason at all, today, we can tell Alexis, that's it, for no reason at all. Okay, so anyway, if that was to ever happen, I would raise my hand too, and I'd say, I los miro también, because I would leave this council in a heartbeat. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Mr. Mayor. Go ahead. Thank you.
Anyway, I said enough, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So, as everybody here knows, I'm one of the newbies, not only in town, but on council. And helping my transition to this position has been that man right there, Alexis. If I ever have a question, a comment, I need some help, he's there. He said, come on over. Even though I know he's busy, he seems to always be able to make the time. And that carries, with me, it carries a lot of weight. I've seen this man work with our stakeholders, people from FMI, Capstone, BHP. And there's one thing I noticed that's a common denominator, is they respect him, and more importantly, they trust him. They trust him. So when this man puts it on the line and makes a commitment to a stakeholder to get a pool built, a skate park done, frisbee golf, whatever the project is, it gets done. And that's why all of a sudden the town is starting to see more improvement here, because the bonds of trust have been reestablished. And that's not an easy feat to do. So I respect that to a very high degree. And I feel that we're absolutely fortunate and lucky that we have the talent of this man, the drive and the passion that this man shares with us and our community. I sometimes wonder if I stuck him in a finger if he wouldn't bleed green. I see him at school events. I see collaboration with the town and Miami Unified School District. And there are many great things on the horizon. Some we can share and some we can't. So it's an element of trust. I know that's hard. But I do. I trust this man, and I will plant my flag with him because I have that much faith in his ability, and I know it's not a show. It's genuine. So thank you, kind sir, for being in our circle. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Bill.
So Alexis, you have one of the hardest jobs in this position, because you got 7 individuals that have different views, different ideas, and different perspectives on which way they want to see the town move forward. And so to be able to please 7, it's not an easy job to do, because either you're going to get some people upset or you're going to make some people happy. So it's got to be a balance. And, you know, as your review comes up for your, what is it, your second year or third year? Is it third year review, some of your accomplishments that you have done for this town has been stated with previous council members. You know, we were able to resurrect the pool that was vital to our community, for our residents that live in our town. And even though there was a pool across the hill, it didn't service our citizens. And, you know, that was one of the biggest factors, in my opinion, to resurrect that pool and to make our residents accessible for young children here to be able to enjoy the pool. You know, the other thing that I've seen in the last couple of years is your involvement, and kind of like what another council member, Stuart, said, you know, your involvement year-round. You know, we've had previous town managers that with any kind of events, they were not present, they were not out and about, and we are very involved with our community. If it's with charity events, if it's with City of Glow or other municipalities besides, you're always willing to, get involved and be a part of it. And I think that's an image that the town needs to have, that can resurrect our town, to see that we have a manager that's out and about, making things happen in the town. Unfortunately, I'm not like some of these council members that are retired and have accessibility, to come and see you all the time. I'm still young enough that I have to work and put my hours in, and so I'm not fortunate to be able to come in and sit down with you and get caught up to speed of what's happening. And so I rely a lot on information either through email, through text, informing me what's happening in the town, because, like I said, I can't come down and sit down, and talk. If it's a weekend, maybe we go have some drinks, not alcoholic drinks, of course, because we're in a public forum, but, possibly maybe to arrangements on the weekend when I'm available or I have the time to get caught up to speed, because I know there's a lot going on that I'm not informed with because I'm not in here all the time. But, I also have to believe in the strategic plan. I think a 5-year plan is important. If you don't have a strategic plan, you're not going to move forward on anything. And, we at the school district, we also have a strategic plan that we have to move forward, because without having that, you're going to stay, you can talk a game, but you have to be able to fulfill it and have goals. And if you don't have those goals written down, you don't have anything, it's not going to happen, in my opinion. So I think the strategic plan is very important. So there's always room for improvement, and another council member said that we're not perfect. We're going to make mistakes, but, I hope that you listen to some of these concerns that myself and other council members, and kind of, see what we can do to get this worked out, and we can move this town forward, because that's the main reason. That's why we're all 7 of us here, is because we want to see Miami better. And, it takes a strong leader to, lead that way with our concerns that we have up here on the dais. And, I think, like I said, the last 3 years you have done that, and hopefully it doesn't fall back, and we can still continue moving forward with that. So that's what I have on your review.
Thank you.
Good evening, the Board Council. Thank you. And I want to clarify one element. When I was in San Carlos, I was an accountant. They promoted myself to a position to administrate the tribe. $245 million budget, and that's a lot of responsibility. When at the moment I applied for the town of Miami, Vice Mayor Gonzalez was the mayor, and I promised to put this town in the best place, be the unique element of Miami. It was difficult because the financial element, it opened the eyes for me. But I promised the best for this town, and I continue with the support of Mayor, Council, and community members to be the best. The strategic plan is important, yes. We did San Juan and San Carlos, but we need to understand and be the realistic part of, we have some elements that we need to fix now. We have some roads on the north side of the town that it required. Like you mentioned on Friday, Mayor, Orphan Street is an element that needs to be fixed. Don't have 2 more years, 1 more, no, we need to act now. And there's a lot of elements in the town that need to be acting now, and it requires funding, like Councilman Raymond, Councilman Medina mentioned. It's a process. We don't know the financial in the United States, how much money we can receive. But we need to knock the door in every single area, federal, state, private, to move this town, and that's my goal. The ultimate goal is the community members and the municipality of Miami, I'm sorry. Thank you. And yes, I'm gonna take consideration of all your concern. We're gonna be working on that. But at the same time, we need to understand that this town requires a lot of work, funding-wise, to move forward. Sometimes I'm in the office, sometimes not. Sometimes I'm traveling to find out money because it's necessary. But I continue with the same energy, the same support, doing the best for our town. Thank you.
Okay. Hold on. So we go. Go back to the call to the public, huh? Ready for that? Let's do it. Right. Let me read the verbiage. Call to the public pursuant to Arizona Revised Statutes 38-431.01H. At this time, members of the public may address the town council on any issue with the council's jurisdiction that is not on the agenda. There is a 3-minute limit for each speaker. The council's response is limited to responding to criticism, asking staff to review a matter commented on, or asking that a matter be on a future agenda. Council members are not permitted to discuss or take legal action on any matter raised during the call to public. Okay.
Okay. In regards to strategic planning, we're throwing it around here.
Can you
like
state
Mr.
your
Beck-
name?
Pat Ramos, 1046 West Frederick Street, Miami. I want to thank you, council, for letting me speak. I know most of you up there, I think the world of all of you. I don't know that Don or Dan very well, but I do think that Mr. Moore has the right thing about the streets in Miami, and that's not a new issue, that's an old issue. I've brought it up a lot of times, that's an old issue. The past administration is an old issue. I can name you streets. Mr. Rivera named a few streets, I can name you 5 or 6 of those streets. So, this has we're talking about strategic planning, and we're throwing it around like it's a bad word, and I don't think it's a bad word. The very essence, the very definition of strategic planning is transparency and accountability. That's it. Transparency and accountability. And if we're doing this, everything should be fine. Everything should be fine. I think we need that in anything we do in life. We've got to be accountable for what we do. I believe in this. I think things work out right by this. I'm not up here saying that Mr. Rivera has done a bad job. He's done a very good job. Miami is looking better with Mr. Rivera up there. I like the man. I like most of you guys up there. Most of you. If we don't have strategic planning, guys, we're bringing up red flags all over the place. Something's up. Something's up. I don't need to speak too much more about this, but I think if we don't get moving on strategic planning, we're going to be where we are now, nowhere. Mr. Moe was saying, he didn't think we needed it. I respect him for that. I respect the man for being in the council. But I think we need to get going on this. We need to move Miami forward. Strategic planning is important. Many, many people will tell you how important it is. You talk about money, that's the bottom line of strategic planning. So it starts going up, and not staying stagnant or down. I
Thank you for your time.
Becky Ramos, 1046 West Frederick Street. Thank you, Mayor and Council, for allowing me to speak today. Good evening. With respect to all those present, in reading over the minutes from the last council meeting, I found that Councilman Medina seems to be confused by the power of the gavel. The gavel should not be used to silence the citizens when they come to you with their concerns because you do not agree with what they are saying. It should only be used to bring order to a meeting if someone is disorderly, to regain order. You are here to listen to the people that voted for you and the needs of the town. Next, in Councilman Medina's own words, the mayor and vice mayor serve at the pleasure of the council as a whole. To educate you, Mr. Medina, in a democratic system, government leaders are indeed expected to work for the people that elected them. This principle is rooted in the idea that elected officials are entrusted with the power to represent the constituents and make decisions on their behalf. Their primary responsibility is to serve the public interest and address the needs and concerns of the citizens they represent. As stated by President Abraham Lincoln, the government is of the people, by the people, and for the people. Therefore, let it be on record that Councilman Medina has been corrected. Not only the mayor and vice mayor, but all council members, including Councilman Medina, serve at the pleasure of the people of Miami, Arizona as a whole. In closing, I want to thank Mayor Madrid for the great job he is doing, and I sincerely hope that the council will unite behind him and his ideas to better the town of Miami, because this is what each and every one of you should be striving to do. This is what you were all elected to do. Thank you for your time.
My name is Daniel Oskus. I live at 4441 East Railroad Avenue, Claypool. I live out of the town of Miami, but nobody knows I was born in the 50s in Miami. I went to school in the 70s in Miami. We took state championships with a bunch of these people out here playing ball as a team sport. We took a lot of sports championships and played. I went in the military. I spent time in the United States Coast Guard. The first thing you learn in the Coast Guard, you all work together or you all fail together. There isn't one guy out there high-porting with a rifle, it's everybody. And that's what happens whenever you don't work together. You learn to work together. That's my challenge to you guys, is to not do any backstabbing, not do any things that are hurt the other members, and work as a team. I didn't know the mayor, okay? I got to know him about, a year ago. And we decided to try to help you guys do the M. Okay? We got up there and there was a lot of different ideas. There was people, let's use a chainsaw. No, I don't think so. There was all kinds of things that came up. We came up with the best way to do it. Who was up there with us? The mayor. He's standing right next to me, cutting on wood, drilling holes and stuff, trying to make the town better. You know, you talk about believing green. Like I said, I was born here. This is the only place I've ever chose to come back to. And I've seen the world, okay? I've lived in New York, California, Guam, take your pick, Angler, Plow, all over this world. There's still nothing better than Miami, okay? And I'd like to see that continue. And I don't mean Miami, Florida, or Miami, Ohio, or any of them other ones that want to claim to be part of Miami. This is our hometown. We need you guys to stick together and make it work. And you can't do it without a strategic plan. I wouldn't go into something without planning at least 5 years ahead on money. I don't think most of you would either. Would you make an investment figuring that it's a 2-week investment? Probably not, unless you're awful risky, got a lot of money to lose. My challenge to you is to work as a team. And whether it's, you're in the Coast Guard, you're football, whatever you're doing, you gotta work as a team. And that's a team. The last comment I'm gonna make to you is real simple. We were all taught this, you've all been taught this too. Praise in public, criticize in private. You're gonna criticize somebody, take it out line. You won't violate the open meeting law as long as it's only true. Thank you.
Don Wilson, 626 Fort Mountain Road at Globe. Again, I'm one of the people here that live outside Miami, but I was born and raised on the hill up here behind me. First of all, Mr. Mayor, thank you for allowing me to talk to council. I surely appreciate it. I believe in that strategic plan. I've already volunteered to the mayor, to Evelyn Vargas, Sammy, a couple of other people, to serve on any committee that you want me to do. I'm retired, and my wife likes me out of the house anyway. But the bottom line of this whole situation, it turned personal here not too long ago. At the senior citizen building, my name was brought up, and my name was brought up because I live outside the town of Miami. Well, I'll tell you what, I'm as much a person of this town than anybody in this room. And if there's anybody in this entire room that bleeds green, it's me. You can ask Pat, Vince, all these people around here, I bleed green. And I don't like my name being brought up because I don't live in the town of Miami. I am a town of Miami resident. Know that. I told the mayor here not too long ago that I would be at every meeting I possibly could. The only way that I'd be missing any of these meetings is if I was sick or out of town. Because it's important to me. I didn't realize how important it was to me until a few weeks ago when I came in here for the first time in a long time. I want to work with you. You've got the entire class of 1973 behind you. All you have to do is ask. But what I don't like is the bickering stuff. Choosing up sides. This is not a playground where you're going to go play kickball and choose up sides. Figure out that you're a unit. And Sammy will attest to this. We coach teams. But I always tell my team, and Sammy can attest to it, that we are a unit that works together. And I'm sick and tired of coming to these meetings and the backstabbing bullcrap that goes all over the place. I don't want to see it anymore. You shouldn't want to see it. It's important for all of you to gather together, and you've got a bunch of people here that will back you to the wall. You need to understand that. I hope you do understand that we're behind you. I'll do anything that is asked of me. I told Evelyn, I just talked to her over a few days ago, that I would do everything we can to help you guys out. Because it's important. I love this town. I went to college. I could have went and taught in the Valley, California, wherever. No. I came back to my high school to teach. And 49 years later, I'm still here. I enjoy coaching. I enjoy subbing. I enjoy being around the kids. There's no better pleasure in the world than to be around kids. Sammy knows that. By the way, Sammy, congratulations on your promotion. I love the town. I've grown up with almost all of you, and a couple of you that I don't know very well, but I will, trust me, you're going to get to know me. You're going to get to know me. And if I have to come up here and raise the roof off the place every time, that's what I'll do. Let's work as a unit. Let's start doing things together. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Joy Wilson, 762 West Pershing Circle. Ian and Sammy did vote, Mr. Moak, you are the czar of Pershing Circle officially in town. Just a few things. I've been coming to the meetings a few times through the years because of city council and connections with Miami High School. But lately I've been coming a little bit more frequently, and just some things I have concerns about. First off, I am a fourth generation property owner in the town of Miami. My family has been here since the 1930s. When you guys start putting together committees for things, please keep in mind us young property owners. There are some of us, I am in a third generation home that was built by my grandfather's GI Bill here in Miami. They came to live here because this is where my grandma grew up. And there are quite a few of us, even within my neighborhood and down the street, that we are young homeowners, that we are still working. We're not retired yet, but we plan on this being our forever home and not going anywhere. And I know you guys talk a lot about, new people and stuff moving in, but there are us generational folks that have concerns about things. Also, just like my father and my mother, I am also a teacher. Just started my 19th year teaching. Just a little side note for meetings, there are certain council members that really need to stay on task when we are in meetings. Those are things I tell my student council members, and even within the classroom, when we start off topic and ranting about things, we're wasting everybody's time. And I know that is some concerns for people. Also, on a positive note, I want to thank the town of Miami and all their employees for all their cooperation. I believe I've been in charge of student council for 5 years, but I've been a part of the council since I started teaching. But things that the kids really appreciate and are, expect, get more comfortable with the town, coming here to hang out and do things. One, like you guys mentioned earlier in the meeting, is Vandal Dash. They're really excited to be downtown, be part of the pool, be on the courts, and be at our 3-on-3 and all that. So I want to thank you guys for letting us host that. All our homecoming activities that we do, letting us have full access to the town, to the to all the little stuff too, including the park. We also, maybe some of you don't know, we also use the library on homecoming day. We have a senior breakfast back in the little park area of the library that all the seniors come to, and then I give them a tour of the Hall of Fame afterwards. Some other things that have come up lately, last couple of years is we started Senior Sunset. So thank you, Mayor McGill, for fixing the M for us, so it's easier for the kids to get up and down. They also enjoyed the park afterwards this year and had dinner all together. And then also just volunteering with the town. The kids really enjoy coming to the senior center, working with all the businesses during homecoming week and during Christmas, painting windows, decorating things, and just getting out and about over here. And so thank you very much.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Council. Yes, I'm the noisy one. You guys have this council manager form of government. And we vote for you to sit up there because we think you're going to do the things we would like to see happen here in the town of Miami. A strategic plan, as everybody's talking about, is a very important thing. And this has been one of those things that I used to sit up there, by the way, years ago. That's a hard thing to do because there are so many there's so many fires here in Miami to put out. What do you prioritize first? Thank you. You know, it's a tough job. And it takes a good manager to work with you guys. You guys have to communicate to the manager. And you know, some people say they're hard to get hold of him. I can message him, or I can call him, and I can come bend his ear a little bit, you know. I find that he's very open. And I think that as managers go, because I think the last good manager we had that really cared about the town was way back when it was Robert Lacano, or not Lacano, I'm talking about...
Manager Robert Mawson?
Robert Mawson. He really cared about this town. And manager after manager after manager, I know we had the few before was a bean counter, but we did get our sewer system worked through. You know, would get a new manager come in, and I'd come in and say, hey, and introduce myself and say, hey, here's some history of the town of Miami, because I kind of like history and whatnot. And I want to encourage the town manager to be on board with what's happening in the town. And you get one bean counter that all he cares about is this project. And you get another manager that comes in that he is not interested other than this is just a stepping stone for his next employment. This man came in here, and he obviously cares about this community. Is he perfect? Nobody's perfect in this world. And there's communication errors. You know, I know there's a lot of people here that are going to speak about what happened this weekend as a communication breakdown. And I want to say that he is bringing new things here to the town. He is open to having events and whatnot. Getting that pool done for the community and such. He's been a real asset. And you know, you kind of think about it, we have this great town here that's kind of run down and whatnot, but has all this great potential. This is diamond in the rough thing. And I keep saying this, I keep sticking to this, you know, story, because one day it's going to get so much better here. But it's such a job to make that go. You have to keep at it. And you guys have to work together here to make that happen. And like this weekend, we had film crew in here. We've had multiple movie crews and, you know, music videos and whatnot. That's putting our town on the map. That's kind of cool, you know? And I've dealt with, because of my business, I've dealt with these film companies and whatnot. They say, okay, this is what we're going to do. And then in the middle of things, they go, oh, no, we have a new change. We have a script change. And you're like, what? And so I think that this last thing that happened here in town was just a miscommunication between that company, the manager, and you guys. You know, what I'm basically boiling down to here is we can have these kind of events come to town, but we need some more understanding of what the guidelines are for that. And, you know, the manager needs to put together a contract with any of these companies that come in here, and the town needs to say, well, we can't have speeding down the streets. You know, we can't have crashing cars. But we might have that if there was security and, you know, presence to keep people safe. Because that's what's the most important thing here is, right, the safety. You know, and as you council members, you want to make sure the town is safe. You want to make sure that the toilet flushes, you know, and goes down the drain and all that stuff, you know, that's important. But don't, you know, just not tear up the manager over this event this weekend, because I think a lot of it has to do just with the communication breakdown. And you guys can work with him to develop some sort of a memo of understanding, you know, that these companies would sign on to. This is what you can do, this is what we expect, this is what you can't do, that sort of thing. And that goes right into the whole planning process of the town. You know, you have the plan to fix things, but there's always a fire that pops up. So you have this prioritized and blah, 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 and then all of a sudden you have to take all your money and put it in some failure that just happened. So the strategic plan has to be kind of a fluid thing as well, because you don't know what's going to come up. And have I spoke too long here? 5 minutes. Oh, 5 minutes? Okay, I better quit. I didn't hear the beeper go off. So, I just want to say, I have been here, I moved my family here in 1999, the summer of 1999, and I thought this was a good place to move my family here, and I feel it was. I have 5 great kids that grew up, most of them went to Miami High School, grew up here in Miami, and I just want to see this place prosper. And invite more people to help us prosper. Thank you.
I'm going to introduce my name. My name is Richard Shaw. I live at 5512 South Patio in Globe. I'm not a Miami resident, but I did retire from my police department and worked here for several years. But I want to address a couple of things that isn't bugging me quite some time. Now, I have addressed the town mayor about this, and at least one or more town councilmen about this. The conditions of this are deplorable. There is ocean hazards with the concrete in the back door. That's for one. Number 2 is the generator. It does not power up the entire police department. When the power goes off, all it powers up is the front office. That's unsafe. In addition to that, the generator has to be manually set.
Excuse me, Mr. Shaw, could you speak more into the microphone?
Yes, can you hear me now? I said the generator is unset. It does not power on its own. It has to be manually done. Okay? In addition to that, the doors to the bays where the generator sits has to be open to keep from killing people with toxic fumes caused by the generator, which is not properly ventilated. Those are 2 items right there that need to be addressed for the police department. I can mention many, many more, but for time constraints, I'll refrain from that. So, anyway, I know the budget is a problem. I know the town's got money problems, whatever. I get it. But these are issues that need to be addressed once we get it. It is not a deal where you put on a back burner and wait for something to happen, wait for somebody to die because they got or suffering from toxic fumes. Thank you.
Lana Camps, 187 South Bronx. I just want to thank Mr. Shaw for his comments. I think that safety for our town members is number 1 for everyone. And I think that just his life speaks to that. So I hope that what he had to say to you will become a number 1 priority, because his saying that is not the first that I've heard that our police officers are working in terrible conditions. And yet they are doing their jobs in an excellent manner for me. They come when I call and they keep me safe. So I would appreciate it if that was the number 1 priority. I've lived here for several years and just recently went from being a renter to a property owner. I just want to say that Alexis never stops working, ever. If he goes to pick up his laundry, he is still working. He is still shaking hands, and he's still listening to concerns. And that even when I might need code enforcement, I don't expect the town manager to come there. He does, he comes to my property. So I want to tell you that this man works 24/7. So I'm not sure that it's real good use of his time for 7 men to sit in his office individually. So I think if you have communication concerns, you need to start using email so that you can send out 1 email instead of another.
The other concerns that I have while I'm up here is that although I think very highly of Karen and Alexis because they do their jobs in a professional, excellent manner, I always get calls back, always. And they always put safety first for myself and my neighbors. And I think that they have both, I've seen them both make improvements that you can see with your eye to this town. That being said, I might have to spank Alexis a little bit tonight. Yeah, he knows it's coming. So, because I think so highly of him, I will put it nicely. I understand that a movie shoot brings marketing value. I understand that. This was not well done. It was not done safely. It was not done in any kind of professional manner. There was not enough notice. And let me tell you something. My safety is not for sale. Do you understand me? So I do not know how much money was handed over, but it was not enough. I had to lay with my 80-year-old mother last night for 5 hours while we heard incendiary devices and sirens. The next time I hear a siren in this town come from a police car, there better be a policeman in it and there better be a reason. Because I came down here at 3 a.m. and there was a Town of Miami police car that is supposed to be used for police business that my tax dollar paid for. And the person sitting in that police car was not on official police business. That is a misuse of tax dollars. And although Alexis has been given a lot of authority to make decisions, not all of those need to be unilateral. And I think he overstepped his bounds by quite a bit when we are talking about what is our fire stage right now. Well, I made some calls today to the Hill County Sheriff's Office. And movie shoots are not exempt. The incendiary devices they use are not exempt from our fire stage. When that building over there burned, Tom Foster and I spent all night in the street stamping out, burning the embers with our feet. We will not have incendiary devices in this town when we are in high stages of fire concern. That's not going to be happening, not for any movie shoot. Safety first, people. There better be a police officer in a police car when it has an incendiary on it that it is paid for by my tax dollars. It needs to be a proper use of it. I am ready to file a lawsuit. I am furious. My tax dollars will not be misused. My safety will not be for sale. And I will be not kept up for 5 hours when I have to work 12-hour and 14-hour days. I did not know it was coming. I did not know there was going to be sirens and incendiary for 5 hours. I bounced between putting to rest the fears of my 80-year-old mother and my 11-year-old nephew. The next movie shoot needs to be on their street, not mine.
Richard Hall, 500 Jason Street. I've met some of you before, some of you I haven't, but Evelyn introduced me earlier. I want to share some of the same concerns as somebody who's recently purchased a building here and has spent considerable time, effort, and money on trying to stabilize one of the old buildings in town and is planning on moving my business up here. I was I was downtown quite a bit this weekend for this event because I was quite interested in what was going to happen. And I was fairly concerned as a building owner downtown at the way the weekend played out. And then this is not a condemnation on Alexis, because I'm downtown a lot on a day-to-day basis. I see Alexis hustling hard all the time, and I appreciate the work he's doing for this town. I'm planning on being a member of this community. You know, like I said, I bought a building here and I put considerable effort into it. My concerns are just a few specific concerns based on reviewing the actual filming permit application as a matter of public record, and I reviewed that today, so I understand how some of this communication breakdown might have occurred. One of my concerns is the building owner here. The first notice I received of this filming event was on Wednesday this week. And this was a full downtown closure for 3 days with extended hours. I feel as somebody has an interest here that we should receive much more notice an event of this magnitude. So I was really disappointed with the late notice of the event. The other specific concerns I had regards some of the concerns Lion had. I know how the buildings are built because I'm working on one. These are old buildings. They are highly flammable. They are not built to modern standards. And I know because I'm working on one, most of these buildings are not insured or can't get insured. So any high-risk building event downtown, I think that needs to be taken into consideration. If something goes sideways down here, it would be a real problem. It has been a problem in the past. Multiple buildings in this town have been lost to fire. You see the evidence of that just walking down Sullivan Street. On the film application, there was a few things that I thought were misrepresentations from the production company that should have been communicated to the town better. They did say there would be high-speed chases in the film application, but they said nothing about a car crash in the application, and they said nothing about gunfire in the application. That all happened without my understanding of it being presented to the town. I think that was a mistake for the town to let that proceed without being notified in advance and notifying the residents and business owners that that was going to happen. So, to the chair of the council, those are my concerns for what I saw over the weekend.
Richard Huerta, concerned member of the public. I'm here tonight as a member of We the People to announce my support again for the strategic plan. I would also like to congratulate the council and staff for developing this excellent plan. I would also like to commend the council and staff for adding their names to this plan and agreeing to support the plan and aligning itself with a leadership team around shared values, a unified vision for the future of Miami. It is also refreshing to know that the council and staff has agreed to focus on key priorities, goals, and actions by which to assess and measure progress, embodying realistic yet ambitious dreaming for what the town of Miami could and should be for the future generation. We the people look forward to working with our government officials in implementing this strategic plan. Let's move forward together. I'd also like to add that all the measurements that were stated on the town manager's review were all personal feelings. Nothing was mentioned as to item 1, did you meet it? Item 2, did you meet it? Item 3, did you meet it? No, it was like, he's a nice guy, he's there when I need him. That doesn't fly. That doesn't go. This plan here stops all that. It sets a timetable and a goal. What I heard was Miami stays the same. No, that's not gonna happen. It has to be objective, and it has to be measured. The mayor in Superior was not a previous senator from Washington, D.C. I don't know what she was, but they have a strategic plan. The mayor of Globe was a fire chief. They have a strategic plan. Our mayor was an engineer. We are going to have this strategic plan. And Mr. Shaw mentioned a few things that have not been fixed. Do you think, Mr. Ryman, we need committees now, by what he just mentioned, and possible lawsuits? This is going to prevent all that. We're going to get people accountable, and that's what has to be done. What I'm hearing during the review process is we're going to continue spinning our wheels. And we're not going to be able to measure any type of progress. This takes care of that. And you all agree to it. So let's get it done and let's move forward together. Thank you.
Hey, how you guys doing? Long time no see. I'm not going to criticize you. My name is Keith Kagan. I live at 693 West Woodrow. What I would like to bring to the committee is that we had a person pass away this last Friday, Christine Dorothy's husband. I would like to have everybody bow for a silence for just a few minutes in honor of Christine and her family. And if you guys are all done, we done with what I gotta say. You guys have a good day.
Thank you.
I agree with the gentleman just left right now. I don't really want to critique anybody, but about 8 months ago I was here and I asked that we all vote our conscience, that we all are part of a team that as the class of 73, which we refer to a lot.
Maybe your name.
I'm sorry, Vincent Perez, what is it, 118 Frederick Street.
What is it?
118 Frederick Street.
Your name?
Vincent Perez.
Oh, Vincent.
I'm so sorry about that. But anyway, I came and I asked the council, please be a part of the community, please be a team member. I'm going to read the rest of it here. And that was because I wanted this town of Miami to succeed. Since then, actually, I've seen great effort and success in promoting our small but thriving town. And it's not just Alexis, it's Ellen, it's the council, it's the lawyer, it's everybody that's involved. And that's heartwarming to me. And today I witnessed and heard many concerns of inappropriate behavior, of miscommunication, of things that need to be done better. I'm here to say that I think things are done pretty well in Miami at this point. I've been a resident, I've been a person in this place for 7 years, and I've never seen this town probably as motivated to do well as they are today. What I can't understand is the division in the council. It shouldn't exist. I look at the members, and I see devoted members, and some Miami Vandals in front of me. Once a Vandal, always a Vandal. That's what we say. Sure. I'm not sure what or who placed responsibility for this division, but it's not Alexis. It's not Mr. It's not any of you in specific terms. But it has to be a joint effort. And I think a lot of people up here have said that. It has to be a team. If there are these incidents of inappropriate public behaviors or unacceptable, and they're unacceptable and should be addressed, then measures should be taken by the town council. I'm not in disagreement with that. I don't know what happened last meeting about calling on the rules that apply to the town council. But I would say that if rules apply to the town council and people are actually designated as somebody who's counterproductive to the town council, then action should be taken by the town council against that individual or individuals. And I don't see Alexis here as that scapegoat. I don't see anybody up there as that scapegoat. I see people that need to work together, stay on task. That's important. I think Joyce said that. We teach our kids to stay on task in meetings. Council members, school council members, we teach them to stay on task. Not stories, not if this happened and that happened, or this happened to me years ago. What's happening now? I also agree with the strategic plan. Mr. Ryman, I think that you have some good insights to what's going on in town, but I think you've lost the perspective of what needs to go on in town, and that is a committee so that not everything falls back on Mr. Alexis there. That people are accountable for what they're doing and not doing in different events. And I don't even know anything about the weekend debacle. I don't think about that, but that could possibly have been prevented. There was people that actually could help him do some of his duties, review some of the things that were happening. Mr. Hall up there that just spoke, he was able to review the license, review what they wanted to do. It would have been nice if he had been part of our committee to do those kinds of things. And so, thank you, Alexis, for everything you do. I strongly believe that the town of Miami deserves to be represented by a cohesive, diverse, and team-playing mentality. I am proud of the town and community and want to be a part of its growth and success. In closing, I would specifically ask that there continue to be a strategic plan implemented because of the following comments that because of the previous comments that have been already issued. People need support. People need input. People need feedback, information in order to do a better job. And that's what I see in my 50 years of working in corporate. It was always a strategic plan that got us through. At times there were, I don't remember the word you used, but from outside sources, unreliable outside sources, the strategic plan always got us through that. So I guess in closing, I would have to say that thank you for listening, and let's get back on track. Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Don Rickton. I reside at 407 West Orphan Street. I learned some history today. I've been in the area since end of 2012, and I learned some history. I always thought Alexis Rivera was the first town manager ever. Didn't know you guys ever had one. I used to joke with people saying, Superior got all this business down there. Globe has all this business down there. And then there's Miami, who just passed through town. Just nobody came, nobody stopped. There was no businesses. Besides, of course, Wyos. They're always open. But I've got to know Alexis. I also, I don't know if you guys know who I am. I own Twisted Sidewalk. But I've got to know Alexis. I can come through the town any day of the week and usually see him out here doing something, talking with people. Okay? Because what happened this weekend, I was out of a job, so I came to the town hall and asked for if I could talk to Alexis. And they asked me if I had a appointment. I said no. She goes, "I'll be back in a minute." And then she came right out, brought me in here, and he said, "He'll be right with you." And he helped me out. You know, he's a very busy person, so if you're just leaving him messages and text, he's out and about and doing things. Now, with that said, what I want to tell to my fellow, I'm a food vendor, I'm a nobody, but my fellow business owners, don't put people on blast. Keep them. I have businesses in the Globe Miami area that I'll never go back to because of the way I'm treated. I don't put them out there on Facebook. We're supposed to be a community that works together. And that's all I have to say. And thank you for listening.
Mayor and council, Bob Isagon, 509 Sullivan Street, Miami Harbor campus. I want to say a couple different things. I wasn't here for the meeting a couple of weeks ago, I guess, where there was some discrepancies going on. If anybody knows me, I'm an artist of multiple trades, but my main focus is collaboration. I focus on collaborating, people coming together, doing things together, making stuff happen together. Put two together and get something else. And that's what I work on. I wanted to say that collaborating and working together and collaborating is a really amazing trait to aspire to and get to working with each other instead of trying to working at each other. Alexis has been awesome since I've been here. I got here about 4 years ago and I saw the tail end of Michael's adventure, which wasn't fun. And I really like Alexis. He's always attainable. He returns my calls. He has concerns, and he obviously is concerned and he cares about this town. So, I have nothing great things to say about it. Now, as everybody else has seen, we've got this turn for the. I'm going to go this direction. The weekend was a few businesses lost business. There were people that were planning to do things that were canceled. There were things that were planned weeks in advance that didn't get canceled. I didn't cancel my events because I really didn't care. And I just went forward with them and worked around whatever was going to happen. What was going to happen, what I was told was going to happen was really not what happened. The plan that was originally what I was told the day before the event was going to only come up to a certain part of the street, and it went way beyond that. And it was really late at night. I mean, there are people that live downtown, and there are people that live in these 4 blocks. There's a lot of people that live here, and it was loud. There was screeching tires all night for 3 days, just screeching tires. And then last night there was gunshots at Century, which said 3 more, 2 more, loud, boom, loud, wake you up in the middle of the night, loud. It was really inconsiderate. And I think that's the word I want to throw around for this weekend, is inconsiderate. When I was approached to talk to some of the film crew with my considerations and my concerns, I was met with inconsiderate response. And so I think that I really like the event that happened. I love bringing things to town. I obviously love bringing things to town. I bring things to town. And my time is up, so I'm going to go. That's my news.
Hello, Crystal Lindblad, 413 Sullivan Street. Good evening, members of the council. Thank you for your ongoing efforts to bring activity and visibility to our town. As a small business owner, I appreciate the intent behind organizing different events meant to benefit the community and boost the local economy. However, I feel it's important to speak honestly about the impact that this past weekend had on us. We were told the event would help bring in more business, but instead we experienced the loss of several $100s in revenue, as well as a canceled community vendor and food truck market geared toward increasing local food traffic as well as promoting tourism in the town. A key contributing factor was the road closures surrounding the filming operations, which made it difficult for customers to access our location. We understand the events require logistics and planning, but when access to small businesses are restricted, especially on a weekend, the effects can be substantial. We're not just missing the foot traffic, we're missing loyal customers and potential new ones who either couldn't get to us or assumed we were closed. We ask that in the future, local businesses be included in the planning conversations for events that circumvent council approval. A more collaborative approach can help ensure that events support rather than unintentionally harm the small businesses that help keep the town vibrant. We should learn from this experience and grow together as a community. Thank you for your time.
Doug Gray, 512 West Sullivan Street. Mayor and Council, I was going to try to formulate something of a speech, but unfortunately I couldn't. I literally could not. Ill-conceived and poorly executed are the words that come to mind with this weekend. Okay, and then something that Councilman Medina brought up is he's telling us, you guys need to come up here pointing to us. You need to come to the council when you have this. Don't just expect it. And with Alexis. Well, here's the situation that came up. Okay, this whole weekend occurred, and my only recourse now is after the fact. Okay, the problem with that is when we've got like a real problem, and then you have nothing to work with. You've got no protectors, you've got no one to work for you, to help you, okay? It was the case that the communication was very vague and ultimately was completely inaccurate, all right? Now, all the time I'm hearing, where we went wrong was communication. We could communicate better, we could inform you better, inform you sooner. That's true in some cases. In some cases, you should have obtained consent, not just informing. All right? Now, not only were we actually endangered by the shenanigans with the car, to begin with, which wasn't part of the plan, and then as their new plan unfurled, and they just did it anyway, we were in danger. Let me just stop, and I'm going to ask a rhetorical question. Is cross-traffic the only reason we don't drive 70 miles an hour down Sullivan while we have people on the street? Okay, that's just rhetorical. So just think of that. Is that the only reason we don't drive fast? Now, on the information we were given on multiple releases, we were told stunts were only going to occur within a certain area. That was a hard closure area. They occurred all the way down Sullivan Street, in the area that was referred to as a soft closure area that was supposedly going to be only there for camera vantage point purposes, meaning that they needed kind of like a larger backdrop. That the stunts, and they were referred to as that, would not occur in the soft closure area. Okay, now, when I brought that back to organizers and our manager, what I got was, oh, you know, the crash happened in this thing. The high-speed driving, the firing blanks, it's not just my opinion. Those are actually stunts. I looked it up. And I didn't think about it, but stunt driving is, when it's outside of the terms of a movie, that's something that that law enforcement will use to describe a greater severity of recklessness when people do stunt driving. It's not just reckless driving. Okay, now, so believe it or not, stunts is actually defined legally. And it includes at high speed. It includes burnouts. It includes several things. Now, and separate to that, I looked up the blanks. Blanks are considered stunts as well in movie props. Both of those were done right in front of my house. All right, now, let me rewind a little bit. At the beginning of this event on Friday, when most of us had been caught off guard, and this was starting to take place, the barricades were put up at 5 p.m. That's when the soft closure was to start. It was supposed to just get things ready. Okay, now at that point, there was also a lot of people coming home from work. I even saw the mayor coming home through a barricade that had been open. He's driving home just like everybody else, doesn't know what's going on. At that moment, I'm sitting there watching this car reach top speed in front of my house. I don't know how fast he was going. I bet if you asked him, he'd probably tell you a high number. I'm telling you, I guarantee it was over 60 miles per hour, if not 70. He needed the entire length of the park to stop before he got to Cordova. That was at 6 p.m. I saw two teenage boys walking on the sidewalk from the pool, coming eastbound on Sullivan, while this is happening. At the same time, my 9-year-old daughter was preparing shortly to walk with her mom up to the pool, walk on the street where this is happening. All right, now, so when I saw this, I sent a message to an event coordinator. I talked to Alexis in person. He was in front of my house. I told him about these things and the major concerns that were going on. Not only was it the danger of the driving, you had a road closure that was logistically impossible. You can't have a hard closure at Gibson and Miami because everybody who lived up Miami did not have safe access to their property. All right, so, and I actually watched those people when they got up there, they got frustrated and they burned off and they went and they drove the wrong way up Orphan Street to get to their property. And I'm thinking, if these guys meet each other head on, this person's agitated and they come down, can you say liability, town of Miami? I'm serious. We had a car wreck on Keystone right in front of Delvin's house. Where was the emergency medical team on site for this? Had someone been seriously injured, we would have had a serious problem. You've caused real damages in terms of lost revenue that we heard about. You've caused real damages in terms of lost wages from people who were not able to make it to work. Kids who were not able to make it to school. I don't want to go too off on this, but it's not your fault. I have a fragile psyche, but you caused me emotional damages. I seriously, the reason I haven't been able to write a dang speech is because I'm like, I've been up all night. And then I was kind of asleep last night until gunfire went off. And boom, I tell you, I was up, boy. I was up the rest of the night. When people say they're up all night, I think you mean you toss and turn. I was literally sitting in a chair in the dark, staring out the window as this was going on. You have caused real damages, town of Miami. You need to do something about it. Now, I'm going to be watching it between now and the next call to the public. We're going to see if we get this wrangled up, because otherwise I'm going to communicate with other people who have quantifiable damages, and we're going to move forward. Thank you.
Anybody else?
Pat Ronalds, 1046 West Ricker Street, Miami. I'm not an engineer. I will admit to you right now. I'm not an engineer like I think you be, but I'm not. I did win the state championship for football in Miami that I can claim. But I have another, Mayor Medina kind of challenged me, he had 50 reasons he was better than me, and I'm sure he probably is. With the exception of one, notifying the people of Miami of this incident that happened, and I didn't know anything about this incident. Notifying these businessmen, these business people, what was coming down. Maybe that could be my job. The one thing that I can do better than the mayor, than Mr. Medina, is notifying the people with a lot of time to let them be prepared for this, so they can know what's happening. Nothing against Lex Rivera, I like the man a lot. But I was challenged that there was certain things he could do better than me, okay? But I can do that better than him, I know I can. I can talk to people. Civil. Now, you might wonder why I like the mayor a lot, because I have respect for that man. I have respect for the mayor. Everything he told me he was going to do, he's done. To this, and he hasn't been in office very long. The other administration told me 3 different occasions what they could do, and it never got done. The streets are one of them. Never got done. The AM project, most of my class was there, working on the AM project. Our mayor was there. Danny stated that earlier. Our mayor paid for the Stations of the Cross, the beautiful Stations of the Cross. They're gorgeous. I helped him. He loved a double jack, pounding in states. I was with him. He carried railroad ties up that hill. Walking up that hill with nothing is hard to do. And that, I don't need to call him an old timer, but he's up in age. He shouldn't be carrying railroad ties. None of us should at this age. But that mayor, our mayor did it. And I was next to my buddy, Vince, when our mayor did that, and I said, that's my mayor. And that's why I respect this man. Because he doesn't only talk the talk, he walks the walk. Thank you, Congress.
You all have an attorney. And there is such thing as gross misuse of my tax dollars. And the next time I walked up to a Miami police vehicle, there better not be an actress in it. Because my tax dollars don't pay for movie props.
I'm going to go next, but this sweet gentleman has been waiting this whole meeting for a simple question. Do I need to get it first? If I can. He wants to know, sorry. Do we have to give you his name? Yes. You have to come up? Sorry. He's been so patient.
Hello, can you hear me?
A little bit louder.
Can't hear you.
Hello? Hello? There you go. Yes, my name's Darren Miles. I'm from St. Carlos, but I was just trying to get a clarification of an item which was 4D about the resolution copper mining billboard. I was just seeing if that was tabled or approved. I know there's a lot that's been going on this meeting, so I was just trying to get clarification on that if I can get an answer for that.
Mayor, Council, if I can clarify that.
Sure.
Basically, what they support a billboard that we have in the Highway 60, promoting the town of Miami to come business, visit the restaurants. That's the reason of the support. This is for a year. The cost of that on a monthly basis, they're going to be covering that cost. That's what it is.
So it was approved, right? Correct?
Yes, in the consent agenda, it was approved.
Thank you.
Okay.
Can we get a flagpole? For the town of Miami? But anyway, I'm sorry.
Hi, my name is Molly Cornwell. I have not yet changed my new name, Thompson, but we will get there at some point. I've been a little busy. My address is 505 East Horton Lane in Duluth, and I am not a resident of Miami. Mayor, Vice Mayor, Council, Town Manager, staff, thank you. This has been a wild week for us, this we know. My occupation, if you don't know me, I manage the Globe Downtown Association, and one of the facets of my occupation is working with regional film projects. So, yes, I brought this project to the town. I work with this film crew. I have for years. They have earned my trust. They have rented my facilities in Globe countless times, sometimes for a month at a time, bringing 15, 20 people on the regular. They brought us large name actors. That's despite the fact of what the breakdown for this weekend was. So they came to me in May, scouting for this project, because a local band, a rock band, that was an Arizona-based band, that we've worked with several times on music videos in the past, has made it bigger. So they have moved to Nashville, and they have gotten funders, and they said, we don't want to film anywhere else but that wonderful little town we filmed in last. So these funders paid the expenses to come back, paid to hire 17 on the daily crew members to create this film. And the film is essentially a concept film, and it is their album. So they're debuting their entire album at once, and each scene is a different song. So they have written this around our community, which doesn't happen. So without that even saying, they wanted to come to Globe. They rent the jail and the depot quite frequently. We find them outside locations and the rest. And I do want to do a side note and say, my nonprofit, the Downtown Association, only has funding to pay me for 30 hours a week. I am Globe Downtown Association. So everything I do for Miami, because I believe that we work better together. We are one community. I know I don't bleed green, but I love green. We have property owners that are here that are upset, but we're also property owners. We have 3 separate properties right now in Miami. There's 4. Okay. And we have several in Globe as well. My other half has, I don't even need to go into his history of how many buildings he has bought and invested in this community. Probably over 30 buildings over time. He doesn't want me to talk about it. But I'm saying we love Miami. 100%, there's no doubt for that. I didn't bring this to your doorstep to cause this ruckus. I did not know, when we had the meetings, we did all of our due diligence. We agreed even to bring it to Alexis instead of Globe, because they were willing for me to have this in Globe, which I know you all wish I did. And maybe that will always be the case future forward, which I'm sure makes you very happy behind me. But I want a way to bring revenue. I don't get paid, not a dime, not a commission, nothing. I spend that 30 hours on helping build community projects. If you don't know what I do also, I'm an event planner. I run 2 of the largest events in Globe. We have clocked over our town's population. It is not just Globe's population, our collective town's promotion. I know what I'm doing, and security and safety of the residents and everyone involved is a high priority for me. We met in June. June 11th was my first walkthrough with the film crew to just show them all the wonderful things Miami could do. And here's the shops, and you can be down here and you can eat. They're with us 3 weeks. If you counted 20 unique bodies for 3 weeks living in your downtown, that has potential of bringing in revenue in a time that is just summer dead. I have owned retail businesses in the past. I know what summer dead to retail is. It's hard. It's very hard. So, in my thought process, I thought I was helping. I apologize. We met with Alexis. He met with the team. He went through every detail with them. We walked through, and he said, we need to have more meetings. So I stepped out at that point because I bring them too. And they worked and worked with staff. They had meeting upon meeting. They briefed me as I needed to know. And we continued with the project. And I have to tell you, Globe doesn't even have a film permit. You know, I don't know if anyone was on council, I think maybe a couple years ago when Joseph Heatherly was here. And I came to the council and I said, hey, I'm trying to build something here, cross community lines. Globe Miami, San Carlos, Gila County. And would you be a film-friendly community? And I had a resounding yes. So I did the same with Globe, I did the same across the board. I worked with Micah in his short while here. And when Alexis came in, he asked me, what do you need from us? And I said, I need a permit, a real permit. Not just an okay and a special events permit, but we need something specific because we want to make sure there's clarification. He created a film permit, and it was, a lot of people looked at it and said, ooh, Miami's tough, and that makes me happy. They see this as serious. He requires insurance policies, naming the city as additionally insured. And in this case, with smaller productions where they're not closing streets or things like that, we've been able to say, pick a charity in Miami or Globe, it depends on where we're filming, and that is the compensation. They pay them because they're not using any of the city municipal items. In this case, this is a different story altogether. There was a need for immense security and closing the streets, and they worked over and over and over on this, but they didn't bring it to the public. I apologize because the film crew had change orders over again, but they had several police and several people on staff working with them. I've been extremely busy, and I apologize. I usually micromanage a tiny bit more, but when I realized all of the misinformation was happening on Facebook, I, not the town, took it upon myself to create the infamous Blue Note. We had the privilege of having ABC's show Dateline, if anybody's ever heard of that. It's been around for quite a long time. Maybe you remember Ted Koppel and the rest. They were filming with us all last week. In the middle of the filming, I took a break, and Tom helped me go door to door to as many places as we could think there would be residents in the zone we knew of at that time. Just trying to help. Obviously, I probably created more fire and should have just left it alone. In the future, that won't happen, meaning we will have a different way to look at this. You don't grow and learn unless there's problems, and I hate that there's problems to grow and learn. But I've heard everybody loud and clear, communication, communication, communication. Obviously, firearms are going to be off because now they can do digital. That is a choice that we can say you cannot use them. And that is something that Miami can put in the, if that's what the council wants. If we ever bring another crew back, obviously the weapons, the full days, we didn't do full days, and I'm sorry, I know I'm over my 3 minutes, but I'm at 7, thank you, 7 is my favorite number. But I just wanted to clarify that we identified the only business that would be open after 5 would be the meadery, and in the first zone. And so town went to talk to her, and it was her, just to make sure, this is what we're doing, this is going to impact you. How can we help? And I was not at that meeting, I apologize, but the feedback was that it was okay, and we worked it out with the one food truck we knew at that time. In fact, the film has hired them to cater, so they felt horrible about it, and we felt that they could stay open, and all the vendors coming could stay open, and we would move the barricades to get them loaded in, and we could put out press releases, come watch, come bring a lawn chair, let's watch. Things started happening, the event got canceled, people started getting angry, Facebook started blowing up. It's harder to control misinformation than information, I do understand, and 100% we have to fix that, 100%. Did we knowingly put the residents in harm? I would say no, but the residents behind me are upset and would say yes. I do have to say, living in a commercial district, as not a resident, you give up some rights. And it is up to the town and the council to make some decisions for the commercial district. And in that case, we need to come together. And even if it's in briefings, or we have to do something ahead that's different if we're ever going to move forward with this. But the lashing out at all the crew, I'm sorry. I understand them over time. But the businesses have treated this film crew with such disrespect. I'm humiliated. Thank you.
No, there was no way. There was gross miscommunication. The people that planned this whole thing, Amanda Churchhouse, 509 Sullivan, I work with Artworks, I'm on the board of the Arts Commission, manager, whatever, it doesn't matter. The people that planned this had no idea what actually goes on in the business district. Yes, living here does give up something, but more than 3-day notice. I mean, the night market had 11 vendors, 2 food trucks. Maybe it didn't need to be canceled, but nobody was allowed to walk on the sidewalk during that time. It wasn't just the hard closure, the whole closure. We had 1, 2, sometimes 3 businesses. We had an event with artists coming from out of town. We definitely lost at least a little bit of business in the 3 hours that we were still open and the road was closed. I treated the film crew with nothing but respect. I offered to give them whatever they needed at the restaurant. No.
That was
I hadn't talked to them before. You were the first person. I talked to Dr. Reed. Yeah, I read that note in the morning and then I happened to run into you. I definitely, if anything, I tried to be accommodating to everybody. Like, how can we help you guys? I mean, I offered to like open up the restaurant at 11 o'clock at night and help feed these people and help do whatever they needed. I was like trying to help them in so many ways. And then after we agreed, I switched my schedule. We bought food to help feed them. They canceled the whole thing. I mean, that's kind of besides the point, but that was a big loss to us. People weren't walking as much. I mean, if I had to send a person home and they lose an hour or 2 of work, we're talking about someone's like phone bill. Like, I don't know what kind of Miami made, but if you take into all the little bit of losses, including the 12 people, including the 12, the 12 vendors, like, that's loss. I enjoy the film. I think it's really cool. I love the concept you were talking about, their album. We need more communication. We need it earlier, and we need somebody to represent the businesses and residents of downtown, not just people that sit in a position, that don't know what happened. Like, does anybody, I mean, people are making these decisions have no idea that we have events every Saturday. We have 25 to 50 people that show up for live music, like, some of the responses I got were like, I had no idea. And there are a lot of people that enjoy and think it's cool that there's filming that happened here, but there just needs to be compromise, and particularly with just someone like who knows about this. There's not anybody. I mean, is there a community organization that maybe can sit on some of these councils? If it doesn't want to be spread around town, what's going to happen? There's somebody that could be part of a confidential meetings about this, but to say that people are being disrespectful for the town, the only one that I know about it was somebody that isn't even part of the town. It's a weird guy that was around town. And the crew thought it was somebody from town.
Anybody else out there? I thought he was gonna walk over here. I think that's all of it. I just want to know, I know I speak for the council too. We appreciate all of you coming in and participating in this. Hopefully we'll improve our communication so that it never happens again.
Mayor and council and community members, we understand that this event is a door for beautification, it's a door for improvement. Since I started here, it's going for this Friday 3 years, we try to create a very aggressive government. We're not perfect, but we have the room to create a better community and create a better law, regulations, policies. And that's what's going to happen. This event is going to create the opportunity for us to modify and not closing the opportunity for growth. We can together make the evaluation of the policy that was established before, create a new policy taking into consideration the points that was presented tonight, and that's a government. Government analyze, establish, and create a better day. And that's what we're gonna do.
That's what we need to do. And Alexis, we need to make sure that it comes to the council for approval.
That's, again, that's one of the elements that we need to modify, because with the policy established before my time is giving the power to the town manager. We don't want to establish that continuation of that. We want to create a better route for everybody. That's what we want.
Good. Any other comments, guys?
Thank you.
Okay,
We'll have your turn in a minute. Call the council.
yeah, that's what I thought to say.
No, I'm talking to him.
So item 10 is call the council for future agenda items. I won't be here for the next meeting, Saturday. That's you, brother? I would want to talk about our strategic plan date for the last Saturday in August. I think it's August 30th, 29th or 30th. But it's a Saturday. Just want to remind everybody that we're gonna do that. We're gonna be there.
What's the date?
It's the last Saturday in August. I think it's August 30th.
Time?
9 in the morning, so 1 in the afternoon. And we want to get it set up like we did with the strategic planning, where we have the tripods of documents that we can write on and talk about. And we're going to go through some of there's 5 main items that we came up with in our strategic plan. It's a housing plan. It's I have it here. Read them off to you real fast. Thought I had it. Anyway, it's housing. It's here it is. Housing, public safety, infrastructure, annexation, and economic development were the 5 that we came up with on this strategic plan. And we want to address those and break them down into what I was talking about earlier, into a schedule that we can all live with. I understand all the issues about the money. I even mentioned it. We're not going to have to repeat that here, right? But we do need to have a plan. We need to have a schedule. Then we work with it. We understand there's going to be modifications to it, but we got to get it. So I just want to get ready for that, and Danny might want to mention that in the next meeting. So, anybody else on item 10? Right. Go ahead.
Just another quick reminder, this Thursday, Battle Bash, downtown Miami. It's going to be a lot of action going down with a lot of our youth, so if you guys want to be present, be present. Number 2, I just want to give a little bit of some recognition to Resolution for sponsoring our billboard for downtown. You know, it's a monthly fee that they pay for that billboard, and I just want to recognize them, and not much was said, but Resolution is a big supporter for the town, and just want to give them some kudos for helping us with that downtown. Number 3, Councilman, again, thank you for bringing snacks all the time, because sometimes I don't get an opportunity to eat, and today I was able to get that, so appreciate that. And Alexis, this is the last one's for you. Next time you have a massage coming in, I would like to have my 15 minutes scheduled in for that, so that's what I have.
Expand on that, please.
Alexis had brought a masseuse in, so, yeah, so, council wasn't invited on that, but I want to make sure I'm including it next.
This call to council, right?
Yeah.
Okay, again, as usual, thank you folks for, sticking it out with us. A little bit of a word of warning though for business owners here. I would kind of not say much about living quarters at your business, because that's been a heartburn for many years back. And we try to avoid getting into that conversation. So I would suggest that, talk about your business all you want, but I would refrain from saying, yeah, they bothered me while I was sleeping, or, yeah, we're living here and we were bothered. I would, if that's the case, keep it to yourself. That's my suggestion. Okay, thank you, and thank you again for being here.
Thank you.
Okay, we got a move for adjournment.
So moved.
Okay. Gonna move for adjournment.
Second.
I didn't hear you.
They yelled it.
Anyway, Medina moved for adjournment, and Stewart seconded. Everybody